This is March. All right, I am so excited because this is my favorite time of year. March Madness, the NCAA tournament, those first two slated games, Thursday and Friday slated games, are the best 2 days in all of sports. When it's cooking and you get upsets or close games and buzzer beaters, there's nothing better. Nothing better. And there's also, for me, filling out brackets is so much fun. And I'm about to fill up my bracket right now. So you'll see where I have your favorite team picked and where I have my favorite team, the Kansas Jayhawks, slated to lose. Spoiler alert, it's in the first weekend. All right, here we go. Starting off with the East region, the hardest region in all of sports. We're going to have the Duke Blue Devils in a shocker against Siena. TCU versus Ohio State. I'm going to go with my Big 12 brethren, TCU. St. John's versus Northern Iowa. I gotta go with the Godfather Patino on that one. The Kansas Jayhawks versus California Baptists. Cal- California. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? All right, so I'm gonna go with Kansas in a squeaker. I just hate everything about how my team is playing right now. I'm a big Jayhawk fan. I love them. I hate how they're playing. Louisville versus South Florida. Louisville, because I am familiar with that team. Michigan State versus North Dakota State is no time. UCLA versus USC, Big 12 again. UCF. That's gonna be a good game, though. Oh my gosh, yes, Queen. UConn versus Furman. God, if Furman wins, I will. It'll be the greatest day of my life. Yeah, I just Dan Hurley's such an unlikable cat. All right, so going up here. All right, we're gonna have Duke versus TCU. Duke is gonna win that. St. John's versus Kansas. This is not even gonna be close. St. John's. This is where Kansas quits. Um, and then Louisville versus Michigan State. Michigan State. UConn versus UCF. I'm gonna go with UConn on this one only because I want to see this Izzo versus Hurley matchup right here. How cool would that be? How cool would that be? But UConn is gonna win that because UConn is just they're on a heater right now as far as the tournament goes. Duke versus UConn is another one I want to see. This is another game that would be really good. All these awesome games here, and if it holds out the way that it should. Duke versus UConn. We're gonna go Duke on that one. In a close game. All right, here we go. Arizona. I think Arizona is the best team in the country, so they're gonna easily beat Long Island. Villanova versus Utah State. I'm gonna go with Villanova because they're more of a basketball school. Wisconsin versus High Point. We're gonna go with High Point on this one. High Point. Oh no. All right, I got Arkansas versus High Point Calipari. Um, although, hmm, Calipari went to the Sweet 16 last year. I think that he may be. Well, no, that's I don't know. I'm just saying. I wouldn't be surprised if Hawaii upsets them. And they're also on a big run. I don't know. Kentucky. I'm still like stuck on Calipari's Kentucky teams. Always losing in the first round. BYU versus Texas. BYU. DeBanza's gonna go off on that game. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. Miami versus Missouri. Oh, if there's a God, Miami just rips Missouri's heart out in St. Louis, just like Missouri is prone to have it happen to them every year. Oh God, but I'm gonna go with Missouri on this one. Purdue versus Queens, which is apparently not New York, but someplace else. All right, so going back up here, Arizona easily. I'm gonna go with High Point over Arkansas. I got High Point going to the Sweet 16 and losing to Arizona, and then I think the Banzas gonna go on a run. think the Beds is going on against take them to the Sweet 16 here. Um, Missouri versus Purdue. Hmm. I'm gonna go with Missouri. Oh God, help me! I've got Missouri going to the Sweet 16, but it's in St. Louis. But this never happens to Missouri. Missouri is just I don't know. But I got them losing to Bama and BYU, and then Arizona is has a nice little walk there to the Final Four. All right, in the South region, Florida versus whatever whoever they're gonna play. Iowa, I like Iowa. Vanderbilt versus McNeese State. I like Hoiberg in Nebraska getting their first win in tournament history. Oh, that'd be so cool. Um, that'd be so cool to see that happen. And then North Carolina versus VCU. I'm gonna go VCU on that one. North Carolina's best player is hurt. So Illinois versus Penn. Illinois because they can score. St. Mary's on this one. I just Texas A&M. Just nothing. I don't like them. Houston versus Idaho. Houston easily goes to the Sweet 16 after beating. I mean, they're just so good defensively, and the way they played against the Jayhawks just beat the living crap out of them. Florida versus Iowa. I'm gonna go with Iowa. I don't think Florida's that great. Vanderbilt versus Nebraska. Vandy. I'm gonna go with Vandy on this one. Um, Actually, you know what? I'm going Nebraska. I want to see Hoiberg go to the Sweet 16. Uh, VCU versus Illinois. And then I think I'm going to have Illinois beat Houston. I'm sorry, Kelvin Sampson. But, I also saw Houston lose to Kansas at home without Darren Peterson. So, and then I'm gonna have boy, is this really the matchup that I want here? Iowa versus Nebraska here. Nebraska. I'm gonna go with Nebraska. Nebraska versus Illinois. I'm gonna go Illinois. Illinois going to the Final Four. All right, for the first time since is it Bruce Weber? Yeah, it was. Okay, so in the Midwest region, we're gonna go Michigan. And then Georgia State. I'm gonna go with St. Louis. I think St. Louis is good. Um, Texas Tech, man. Look, Alabama, Hofstra. Hofstra is my upset here on that one. Just because of who's their coach? He was a point guard, and I liked him. I forgot his name, but that's who I'm gonna go with Tennessee. Virginia, those games are going to be easy. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. Kentucky. Although I really want to see a Kentucky Iowa State matchup here. This is going to be really good. But going back up to the top, Michigan is going to win that, I think. And then Texas Tech is going to beat Hofstra. Tennessee versus Virginia. Man, this is like I'm gonna go with Rick Barnes here. Rick Barnes is gonna come to the Sweet 16. Iowa State versus is going to beat Kentucky because Iowa State both can really defend and shoot threes. Um, Michigan versus Texas Tech. Michigan. Oh, this would be a great matchup. 1-2. Oh yeah, Iowa State squeaks by Tennessee there in the Sweet 16, and this is where I'm gonna because in the history of the world, Iowa State has never made the Final Four, but that changes now. That changes now. All right, and Arizona versus is this really what I want to have? Hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay. I like it. I mean, I feel like this is a little too safe though. Arizona, man, because Arizona and Iowa State played each other in a really, really good game. Again, one of the great games of Big 12 history. In that Big 12 tournament. I just think Arizona is really, really good. And then Illinois. I don't think Duke is gonna make the Final Four. Make the well. It would be cool. I don't know. I just feel like that for my hedging my bets. I think a lot of people are gonna have Duke in the finals, and I don't want them. I want to be different. Um, and also, it like March doesn't happen the way that we think it's going to. But I do think Arizona, based on what I've seen, is the best team in the country. They're going to win. How many total points will be scored? I'm going to go with 127. All right, so that was my brackets. I have Arizona making the Final Four. I have Kansas losing, my Jayhawks losing once again in the second round. They're not going to get out of the first weekend. If they do, I would be so pleasantly surprised, and just count my blessings on that. But I don't think they will. The big news is that I have Iowa State actually going to the Final Four, which they've never done. And usually they peter out around that Sweet 16 matchup. So we'll see. We'll see. I feel like that my bracket I played it a little too safe, but I think I got some upsets with Hofstra and High Point in there. Um, but what I really I mean I like the upsets like in like the first weekend, but then like once you get to the Sweet 16, I want that UConn versus Michigan State matchup. I want the Duke or the Duke versus um, Patino or Bill Self match. I mean those were all going to be great matchups. And then Iowa State Kentucky. I really want that to happen.